In today's news, nothing to hear, nothing to see. All is well with democracy, and the good guys are in charge. Our lead story of the evening involves an incident in South Boston, where...
Not attempt to adjust your equipment. We are in control. This is Sinister Mysteries. Tonight, we bring you another disturbing case from our files.
Enjoy the rest of the broadcast.
Enjoy.
I landed safely, everyone. I landed safely.
You did.
I'm
and
here.
That was so cool that you checked in
Yep.
from the sky.
35,000 feet in the air, flying over, right over Oklahoma and stuff with it. Yeah, that was a whirlwind trip.
So I have an interesting question for you. Considering this is another technology episode, when they say turn off your phones or stow your equipment or whatever, I just turn my phone off and then I turn it back on after we land. Does it to be on the airplane Wi-Fi or whatever? Does that cost money or is that a free service?
It depends on what it is. My carrier is T-Mobile, and they partner with several airlines, and so we actually get free internet, Wi-Fi internet while we're flying.
Nice.
So while we're going, we can stream movies, music, the things that through the thing. And this one, it allows me to via messenger, text. And so I was able to go on Facebook. And so when you went live, I was actually it notified me. So I went on and I was watching, and then finally I was able to chime in. I was like, do stuff right there. So when I said I'm looking for UFOs, like I said, 33,000 feet in the air, and I'm looking out on the horizon, seeing if something goes flying by the airplane. So
yeah, and luckily you didn't have any problems. My father-in-law and my niece were back and forth to Arizona from Ohio. They had no problem. So that is good. I don't know. I thought I was going to say something else, but anyway. But here we are, dead internet. This is some spooky shit.
Yeah, this is something really, because just to give everybody an idea, this is really, think of what we'll be talking about tonight too. Is think about, we've all talked about in different shows and stuff too, is where, man, it feels like it's always listening.
Yeah.
Like I said, this some of the stuff we're going to be talking about is, I'm going to be bringing up one thing Joey did. I'm surprised he didn't even come across in his research. And it's one of the things we're going to be talking about. And it's one of the Google programs. I kind of have a timeline laid out, how this stuff broke down too. So.
Oh, good. I have one too. And I have to say that I spoke, I spoke with AI about AI and the dead internet, and it gave me its prognosis for how this is all going to go from now to 2040 and beyond. So it's pretty interesting. So we definitely want to let's see here. Just catch it up in the chat room here really quick.
Yeah, it's almost like, picking fights early.
Yep. Here we go. Oh, who are? Oh, goodness gracious. Not everybody can see everything. So that's like neutral corners, neutral quadrants. So,
yep.
So Craig, because I didn't know about this. And so I didn't even learn about it until Monday when I started my research, which I kind of love when that happens. When were you aware of this? Because it actually goes back quite a ways to almost the time period where it seems like it was BS, but now it's not. But go ahead.
I had heard it talked about like a couple of years ago, just like random things that'll pop in, but it was one of those things I was going through looking for like show show ideas and trying to come up with something. Then I saw that, I'm like, okay, this is pretty good. And I threw it to you and you're like, what is that? And I'm like, well, here we go. This is going to be a great topic because this is one of those things a lot of people haven't heard. And this is basically is what talk about for me, kind of the way I sum it up to is think of it like the internet, because everybody sees it just keeps growing and growing, but everybody's had the same experience. It also feels hollow and empty.
Yeah.
And this is the summation of this theory is that think of it like a hot air balloon. It's constantly expanding, keeps expanding, but what's inside that hot air balloon? There's not a whole lot of mass. It's just empty, space. And that's kind of what kind of sums up the dead internet theory is that it seems like there's just massive amounts of stuff out there. But how many times do you go in chat rooms? How many times do you go in groups and stuff and you see the same posts over and over again?
Yeah.
The same things over and over again. Same stuff's being said over and over again. You're just like, how can it just be the same? Seems like a regurgitated thing all the time.
It is.
And that's
I think tonight, from a systems perspective, because this is very much a systems thing. Because people could say, why the hell does it matter as long as there's good, interesting crap on the internet? I don't care who's creating it. Garbage in, garbage out. And I think the bill may have to be paid at some point for this garbage in, garbage out, because the more garbage goes in, the more garbage is going to come out. And this is beyond the studies that they're having with the bias. So bias in, bias out, right? If something is always slanted one way, the AI, that's all they're going to learn, because no internet, and you and I had a chuckle about it the other day. The tech boys, the Sil Valley boys, continue to oversell this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They really do. But anyway, I asked AI to define the dead internet theory for me, and here's what it said. It's organic human interaction online is largely replaced by fake accounts, AI generated posts, and content farms. Content farms is interesting. Manipulating public perception, controlling narratives, and generating revenue. So it's like, why have pains in the ass like you and I, who like have opinions and ideas and don't always get with the program? Why? If you don't, you can't. And there's a few things, Craig, this is already starting. The diminishment of human presence has dinged me in one thing that I'll talk about, but it's about to ding you and I in June, and I don't know if you're aware of it, what's coming. So we'll get
a little bit.
Get to it. Yeah. I almost wrote to you about it, and then I said he may have heard about this, and I'm going to save it for the show. So from what I saw, dude, it was this theory first came up on like 4chan, on Reddit, somewhere around 2016. It was floating around through 2019, but then it really started to gain traction. There was a post on something called Angora Road's Macintosh Cafe forum in 2021 who said, that said, this is really a thing, like pay attention to this.
Illuminati pirate.
Oh, is that a...
Yeah, that was the OP, the original poster.
Yeah, I like that. That's nice. Illuminati pirate. So then there was a 2022 report by something called Imperva that said that 47.4% of internet traffic came from bots. And then, of course, there are good bots and there are bad bots, just like there's good witches and bad witches. Scrapers, click frauders, which account for about half, a little less than half, of all the bots that are out there. So of course we're seeing this huge influx of scams. The scams are getting very sophisticated. So there's this thing that I get. Google is pretty darn good about spam. Like I don't even really have to look at it. And I have 3 different email platforms. One of them's legacy. The other one I'm phasing out. But it's good to look at them and see where their like sort of spam filters are and all, because you see what does come through. But I get this thing on Google. The first time it came, it was a little unsettling, but it's a PDF. You don't need to open it because you can see it in the window of your email, see enough of it. And and it has your name, it has your address, it has your phone number, and it's one of those, oh, you like to watch icky videos, and we have video of you watching icky videos. But it's like, we know where you live, we know your phone number, we know. That's a little unsettling. That was leveling kind of stuff. The content farms, I had an interesting thing happen about 3 weeks ago. I get an email in the email that I'm phasing out from someone who's interested in paying me to write some blog articles for a children's conference. Well, that's exactly the kind of thing I do, and it's exactly the kind of thing that I've done in the past. So good for them. They actually knew stuff about me. So I was like, okay, well, tell me, they say, okay, here's the word counts, here's the deadline, here's the outline of the subject matter that we need, here's where it takes place, we'd like you to do it in a month. It kind of didn't feel right, Craig, but I was like, let me go the next step. So I asked some questions, this and that. The money that they wanted to pay me was way off scale, which was a huge red flag. Like, nobody's paying this much money for a 2,000 word blog article. I don't care who you are. I don't care, if you're a best-selling author on Huffington Post. So I looked up, I think, the email. They're called Ghana Boys. And this person really took the time to deep dive. She actually allowed the scam to happen to her just so that she could get to the bottom of it. So they send you the money. Then they say that the contract got canceled, but you can keep 30% as a cancellation fee, but you have to send the rest back. But they stop payment. The check actually comes from someone else's bank account. So they route to the bank account to send the check. They send it FedEx because they want you to cash it as quick as possible. So you're out, instead of making $3,000, you're out whatever,
$2,100.
$2,100. So and it's these Ghana boys. There are pictures of them. It's just 8, 10, 12 boys, like in this sort of mud hut with laptops everywhere. And AI has to be helping the process, is the point.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's one of those, kind of going a little bit back to what you're talking about, because this one, Illuminati Pirate, did this. You mentioned the Agora Road Macintosh Cafe. This was January 5th, 2021 is when this original post came out. And he's credited another poster, Wizard Chan, and a few other anons. For anybody that doesn't know the lingo, it's anonymous posters, anons, from other image boards with this creation. But this is one where it really started to take hold, because this poster, and I encourage everybody, like I said, it's a safe site. You're fine. You just look up that and go, Agora Road Macintosh Cafe, Dead Internet Theory. You'll see it, and you can read the post. And this is one, like I was saying, this is what it kind of explains why, when you're like Joseph was saying, how you can look on something and somebody that just posts something, all of a sudden they have like millions of views, and then where we'll do a show like this and we'll get like 80, 90, and somebody that does some weird like little cat video, or just just goes around making these weird sounds, and all of a sudden they've got thousands of comments. It's because it was this dead there. You have bots creating material and other bots, supporting that material. So you can have something like YouTube. They can sell advertisement. They can get you to buy advertisement, but meanwhile they're creating their own content, feeding their own bots, or feeding that content to show clicks, and they're selling this stuff. So basically they're making money without anything actually happening. AI is doing all the work, and they're just sitting back collecting checks.
Yeah, and
that's what it is.
The time that John Lennon walked off the set of David Cavett, and there's none of that ever through the video, but you've already watched it. So shame on us for wanting the, so how prevalent is this? Well, according to AI, this is more than 50 to 60% of all X activity. People still, they're in denial, so they still call it Twitter. It's called X, folks. X activity is bot driven, 50 to 60% right now. And people go, oh, I can't stand X, I don't go on it. That's part of the reason why. So what is AI doing? How is it generating this 50, 60% of activity? It's writing blogs, it's writing news articles, which of course is highly problematic, and it's doing customer support. The thing is, it's not doing customer support. Craig, I had a crazy ass experience. It's not intelligent, and it keeps funneling you where it wants. You can say anything you want. You could speak any language you want. You could do anything you want. It's not going to change the outcome. And then this friggin' thing says to me, it says, I'm ready to roll up my sleeves and go to work. And I said, in point of fact, you have no sleeves. This is absurd. I just want to talk to customer service.
That's where the AI agents are, coming out. A video just came out about that too, where two AI agents are talking to each other.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how does a second AI agent get involved in a situation?
What they did is they set up two things. They had one AI agent trying to book a hotel, and the other one was from that hotel thing, and they started talking to each other. And then at one point they say, I think it's something like, it's like gibberish, like language that speaks, where it's just like machine noises, and they just start communicating, and you can see in real time, like the words are popping up, and it starts booking. So you put in stuff like, I need a hotel, we're having a wedding, I'm going to have 50 guests, I need this reserved for here. That agent will then do the work for you.
Yeah. And like I talked about last week, they're using this AI to fix prices at hotels. For airplanes. So yeah, it's really getting narrow in a hurry. And this devolving into gibberish goes all the way back to, I think, 2016. Wasn't it 2016? Maybe 2017, but I think it was 2016 when Facebook had the AI lab and it started talking to each other, and they shut the whole damn thing down.
Yeah.
They shut the whole thing down.
Started to freak them out that they couldn't, they weren't going to be able to control it.
Yeah, there you go. Siri and Alexa, other devices talking to each other. I think there was either a commercial or a TV show. Oh, no, South Park. That's right. Where the Alexa was talking to the Alexa. And I actually saw that episode. That was very cool. So, okay. So let's do some comparisons now to see exactly what is going on so that we can kind of postulate what this is going to look like in the future. And this is something that I heard about a month and a half ago. Human generated text, books, blog articles, news articles, social media posts. Humans are generating about 10 to 50 billion words a day right now. AI generated text, which is just OpenAI, okay, just ChatGPT, is generating several billion words a day. That's just ChatGPT. So humans 10 to 50 billion words, several billion. Did you take yourself out?
No. I isn't that awesome? All of a sudden, my whole internet thing just started freezing up. Boom, 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 and it just like booted me out.
You're still pixelated, but yeah, I looked up and suddenly, out of the corner of my eye, I saw the screen expand.
Am I still pixelated, or am I clearing up?
Nope, you're clearing up. You're settling back in.
Okay, yeah, because I switched myself. I took myself off the home internet and put my on a cell signal because see what's going on. So yeah, sorry about that, everybody.
That's one way to reduce human content, which we're going to talk about tonight. AI powered SEO content. So that's oh, come on, I know what SEO is. I know it all the time. It's
search engine optimization.
Right. So that was a big thing where you got to tag, and you hired people to do your Google thing so that it would get a lot of ads and the SEOs were at the top. Now there are AI powered SEO content mills and social media bots that are producing hundreds of billions of words a day. So now that's 10 times more than what humans are creating. So these SEOs, and I spoke to a guy because of a project I'm working on somebody's like, you really should talk to this guy. He's up and coming. He's doing this SEO content generating to the tune of hundreds of billions of words a day. AI generated text likely outnumbers right now, likely outnumbers humans 10 to 1 or greater. That's just going to be increasing amount of garbage, which is going to create more and more.
And that's and this
garbage.
And this guy, Illuminati Pirate, he was posting in here, and that's one of the things that led him to really deep dive into this. Is he about 2016, 2017, around that same time, he really noticed a prevalence that there was a sudden influx of posts on 4chan, other things. It wasn't spam; it was actual content that was coming on. But the problem was that there was just something off about this thing. So the conversations it was coming in like real time, just like normal. But think of like if you ever order something from China through eBay or something else, and they always send you that thank you, like, we hope you love, great product. It is very fancy. I love it so much. You too, hope, And like I said, you're like, okay, I get the gist of it, but that's how these kind of posts were coming through. And it was kind of almost like a childlike intellect, but it also had like the adult, like there was adult knowledge behind it. So he really started to feel like there was something learning. Like this was like this. So looking back, this is the infancy of possibly like these AI systems becoming aware and actually starting to generate knowledge and starting to figure out how to hone themselves and how to become things. And that's where it kind of, like I said, pretty much that's the research I had leading up to it. Now I kind of have that timeline that this original poster and my little commentary on it. And so I said, I yield to my colleague.
So let's see some other comparisons now. So we know as far as human generated text, and that's what I'm about. I am about generating text for posts. So let's get into videos. AI generated video. Okay, so So AI generated videos, millions of AI generated clips per day. Human created videos, 720,000 hours of video uploaded per day. But here's the kicker. Much of it is repurposed or bot assisted, right? So you had these, look at the evolution of TikTok. I see it especially on TikTok where you can stitch, or Craig, there's ridiculous videos where people are just watching other people's videos and you're staring at these stupid people, like trying to be interested, going,
yeah.
And then they take their coffee cup and you're like, what is this bullshit? All it is meaningless nonsense that just, as the thumb's going up, it's crap. Well, so there you go.
And that's what it's like. We always talk about this stuff. It's like, I'm this is going to be a little self-bloviate, like self-promotion, like, no, it's how can me and Joey can put a show out like this? Joey puts all this effort in it. I said, we show up here, we do this stuff, we get this research for, you guys love the thing. We get, we'll have 120 views on the show. And just like you said, you'll get somebody that'll do that. It'll be somebody doing some stupid thing on there. Like I said, while they're drinking their cup of coffee, that gets thousands of reactions. I mean, you just click on it, you just watch, there's like all the stream of emojis going up and you're like, how do you get to that point? I mean, it's like, how can we get the show to there? Because I'm like, we're not regurgitating somebody else's work. We're doing our own thing. And it's like clawing, trying to get traction. And you get these other people, it's just stupid stuff. And it's just like, man, they're like thousands of subscribers, thousands of likes. And you're like, okay, it's got to be bots. It has to be.
The numbers bear that out, right, man? Social media, 50 to 60% of X activity, bot driven. More than 40% of Amazon views. Okay, so check this out. More than 40%, because they have fake product reviews coming. So that's a problem too. You go to Amazon and you look at product reviews, and so many of them are garbage. They're that thing, Craig, where they don't make sense and the syntax is off. I think I've said this to people. This is what's going on. Not only are bots generating way more work than humans, but they're actively taking down human content. I had over 400 reviews taken down from Amazon. They told me that I was an enemy of the community, that my work was improper, and violated all kinds of things that I had been warned twice before, and I had not. And I sent 3 appeals or 3 queries to Amazon saying, why were my reviews taken down? And I wasn't warned it. But if you look, Craig, I write real reviews. I read the book.
Yep.
Like you've seen guests on my show. They love what I do because I read the book, I write the review, I deep dive. No response. So you have this junk. I was screwing with their algorithms because now they do that thing where they give you a summation. Well, a real review, that's several hundred words or 1,000 words, just screws with their algorithms. So they just got rid of it. And we're not alone. So, and here's the thing that I didn't text you about that you may or may know about. As of June 2025, folks, any video on Facebook older than 30 days old is going bye-bye. It's not being archived. It's not being moved. It's going bye-bye. And they're claiming because they're putting tens of billions of dollars into AI that the human content, it's too expensive to store it. So, Craig, on my Facebook page, I get a lot of views of the show on my Facebook page. The views tend to slow down after 30. Now, YouTube, of course, is where all our stuff is fairly permanently. And knock on wood, we're out of probation. Only one video of all of our videos have been taken down. But what's concerning is the Into the Outer Realms page. The Inner the Outer Realms page exists solely to archive. Like, I don't make a lot of posts on that page.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be an aggregator and put a bunch of crap. So you're gonna, instead of having 200 or 300 videos on that page, that's the catalog of our work, there's gonna be 4. If we do a show every week, there's going to be 4 shows on the that's going to be the content on my Facebook Into the Outer Realms page.
Yeah, so I'll just put a link, so that way.
Yeah, your
so just have to put a link and say, here, jump over to this. That way you can see this thing. Yeah.
It'll be your 3 Beards. It's going to be the same situation. So not only are they replacing so much of our work, but they're taking down our work besides. So they're outpacing us, as if that's not bad enough. That's the trend. That's why this is important. And thank you. So AI creates the most low quality SEO articles that are out there. Millions of auto-generated pages per day of crap. Yet the large language models are learning from their own corrupted text.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's
like if you take a physics textbook and you give it to a 10-year-old and say, do whatever you want to this book. And then for somehow, I don't know how, say they do it electronically. Okay. So they make all these alterations to this physics textbook. Then you give this physics textbook to a freshman in college. They're not going to know that what they're learning is horseshit. They're not going to know that it's mistakes, that the diagrams, the schematics, the equations have all been altered, right? That's what they're going to learn. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying this is, like I said, please chat, do not devolve into politics off of this. But that's one of those things. It's like, you could see, it doesn't matter what side you are. Nobody is doing research anymore. They're constantly sharing stuff, and it is so easy to do a simple 20-second research thing. Go out there and you're going to find, and I'm not kidding, probably 95% of the posts that people are putting out there on either side of politics are completely false.
Yeah.
And everybody's spouting them as this is the thing, against this side, and this is the stuff against that side. And you're like, if you actually do a simple research, you'll find out that either this was done like 4 years ago or 7 years ago, or it doesn't even relate to the thing that just happened, but it's being spouted as this protest is just now occurring. It's like, no, this was 3 years ago. Yeah. And I go, all it would have taken you is a 20-second on Google, which is, a Wikipedia, and it's going to show you right there. But nobody does it because AI is spitting these memes out, spitting all this stuff out, and people are just blindly spitting it back out again, doing exactly what the program wants, what everything wants you to do. And you just keep feeding into it and just keep doing it over and over and over. And I'm like, I've called out several people. I'm like, guys, this is clearly, I mean, here it is. I mean, everybody knows Snopes is, isn't like this, isn't like this right wing or anything. I'm like, Snopes even says this is completely false. I'm like, that took me 10 seconds to type in, is this true? And like, Snopes, patently false. I'm like, it's not hard. Yeah,
So
Tanya is right. It literally is. I mean, I'm watching people and it's like they're trying to put the square peg in the round hole and like, this is my meme.
Yeah. Yep.
It's just,
there's new services now that are telling you this percentage of centrists are reading this article right now, this percent of lefts, this percent of rights. That's all AI. There's nobody sitting there doing counts of, there's no way that they would know that. They're pulling your profiles from places.
What's that term? Yeah, it's that term confirmation bias. It's done intentionally because you'll see, like, I'll just use this thing. You're upset with what Trump has done, this thing. And so all of a sudden this article comes out like, yes, that's exactly what I'm upset with too. And you share it. Well, guess what? Yeah. Those stats aren't right. Those stats are from something they're picked. It's a crafted thing, which you just suddenly shared. It's like, oh, I didn't like Biden on this. I'm sharing this thing. And you're like, it's the same thing. This was generated for clicks to generate this thing over and over again. Nobody's taking the time to do a simple research dive. They just confirmation bias. I found that smoking gun. Send it. And you're like, it's not right, guys.
Yeah. No, because they're doing their morning routine. I'll give you a good. So, I get a ton of stuff. I'm sure you do too, because of what we do. So, I've created a penalty box. You can move, and most of it comes in actually through Instagram. You can move stuff from your primary to a general folder, and you don't get bothered with it. You don't get the notifications. You don't get anything. You put it in your general instead of your primary. And I basically 3 strikes and you're out. So if someone sends me 3 pieces of obvious bullshit that I had to waste my time, then I have to school them about the fact that it's bullshit, they go in my general box. So that's good. I feel good. Also, I love the snooze for 30 days feature on Facebook. I've become a huge fan of that. But let me give you this one, Craig. So the other morning I get this Instagram reel, and it's one of these women, and sorry, it could be a dude. Dudes do it too. It's this.
It just happened. The video was a woman this time. Yes.
And they're like, and they're pointing, and they have the words coming up on the screen, and they're pointing, and they're slapping their desk, and they're doing all this stuff because a state legislator in Oklahoma has put forth a bill to shut down the Department of Health and Human Services and move it over to the Department of Corrections. So you go, wow, that sounds a little weird. So you do a little research. He did it in protest because mental health issues are so bad that people are winding up in jail instead of getting mental health. So he said to everybody to draw attention to it. That is not what this person put forth on their reel. They put forth that this was a legitimate bill that was going to do X, Y, Z. And I'm sure the bots are doing the same kind of thing. You take one little slice of one thing out of context, and it becomes something completely different. You know what it's like, Craig, where they take a video of 2 tough guys in a movie, and they take out like the good Hans Zimmer, like bum ba-dum bum, and they put in like the theme from Love Story, and suddenly it's a totally different movie.
Music is so critical.
Yeah, the minute that you take I have always believed, because I'm an attribution guy, because I'm a scholar, I'm an academic, I edit academic journals, that there should be a timestamp, there should be sources. So this was said at this place at this time, or the video doesn't get posted. Because it's
go ahead. That's the thing. It's just like, as you look at these things, just like you said, it's simple 20-second search thing finds out that it just, even Google will just instantly, it's like, even with how curated that, research thing is, it'll spit out that this isn't right. Like you said, you just do a simple search, but then you go back to that original post and it's been shared hundreds of times and people are commenting like, this is exactly why I don't like this person. Yeah. It's all fake.
Yep.
but nobody takes the time to do anything. It's confirmation bias that was created most likely by an AI thing. And everybody's just like, nope, this is exactly how I feel. And I'm sharing it without doing anything behind it. And you're just, I mean, all I can do is, I mean, most of the time it's like beating your head against a wall. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like, what do we do?
Right.
And that's, but no. Do you want to get in the timeline?
We keep generating content that's either being out generated by AI, or I have a few things that it'll take 4 or 5 minutes.
No, go for it.
And then we can get to
I was just looking at 35. That's why I was like, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. I just want to tackle this real quick. Ron says Epstein list not going to happen like they planned. I don't think it was ever going to. Charles says, I heard, so allegedly, a whistleblower from the FBI reported a shredding party on the Epstein files. My feeling on it, and I said it to Tanya because I saw an article where certain members of Congress were carrying around a binder that said Epstein files on it. But my feeling is whoever puts that out is scrubbing them and their friends in exchange. Then they can go after their enemies, or they can use it as political bargaining. So I don't think anybody was trying to educate us about icky rich people and their sexual proclivities. This was always a politician power move about who has the information, who controls the information, and what form you put the information out there in. So I don't want to get into specifics on that. Yeah,
that's kind of what it feels like.
Yeah, I think that's right. So let's see. Impact on large language models, because this is a really big deal. Because Musk came out, I can't say what I said to you, Craig, because it would probably get us in big trouble. And it's not fair. But he goes through certain phases where he may be enjoying certain things, where he spouts a lot of gibberish. Plus, he's a disruptor. He's the king of the disruptors. I was talking about it last week. But he said, by the end of this year, the large language models, all the content's going to be exhausted. No, that's not really true. They're estimating that by 2027, 2030. But it could be quicker than that. But ChatGPT and future models rely on scraping the internet. We know that for training data. Models risk training on synthetic data. That's the garbage in, garbage out. And that's what Musk was saying. We're not there yet. I don't think we're in imminent danger. But if ChatGPT up levels and some of these other generators, if DeepSeek is kind of here to stay, this could go much more rapidly. And then, of course, you have model degradation. AI learns from AI, compounds the echo, and you also create echo chambers, Craig, which is what you were talking about, recycled and self-referential info rather than novel human insights. So that's control. It's laughable when people go, Russia's doing this and Russia's doing that, and everybody's doing it. America's doing it. Come on. Don't fixing elections and all the rest. Come on. And then, of course, as a creator, as someone who's devoted his life, basically since I was 8 years old, to being a storyteller, to creating content, the loss of originality, human creativity is a real concern. Now, some people will say, hey, it does it better, faster, and there's nothing original on the planet anyway. Some of my colleagues actually say that, Craig, which is really kind of scary that people are drinking the Flavor Aid on this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's
right.
Yeah.
Hello, Professor Bowden.
Yes.
One of the Beards is in the house tonight.
Sir Brian.
Absolutely right. It is not intelligent. It's really fast databases. I say that all the time. And thank you, sir, for the confirmation. So here's the problem. If bots begin to really control the discourse is slanted by their biases and by their programmers' biases. And that becomes really kind of dangerous. Let's see. And then I've referenced this on the show before. It's worth bringing up again. Not everyone is against this. Henry Kissinger and Eric Schmidt, who co-founded Google, they wrote a book in 2021, and it's called The Age of AI and Our Human Future. They believe that AI should dominate the internet, that we should turn over all our trust to it because it knows so much better than us, and just let it curate and manage online content to filter misinformation. whereas it's a machine for misinformation, and to a large or to a lesser extent, but still prevalent, disinformation. And what happens is it will eventually shape governance, economy, decision making. Last week I talked about part of the Project Stargate is this prevalence of boardroom AI, Craig. So you don't want a board member who has human feelies, because like Peter Thiel says, competition is for losers. You want AI that's going to make really, really tough decisions, and you go, oh well, that was our in-house AI. That wasn't the humans on the board, but we have to do what's best for the shareholders. Price setting for hotels, real estate, all of that kind of stuff. The internet will eventually then be dominated by non-human interactions. Exactly what you were talking about, Craig, where you have your AI agent talking to. So it's the old joke, like with struggling actors and writers. I'll have my agent call your agent. We'll do lunch. No, literally, your AI agent, you're going to speak a command and go, book me. I need 50 rooms for a wedding. Get the best hotel within 20 miles of blah, blah, blah. Just go do it. And that AI is going to talk to other AI. I'm sure you could give them price parameters, but it's not going to matter if those prices don't exist.
Yeah. And to real quick to Charles' thing here, I would kind of liken it to, like, for visual thing, for anybody that's seen the movie Tron, the difference between an algorithm and a bot. Mm-hmm. The algorithm is the overall system, the overall rules to the thing, and the bots are the things participating in that system.
That's a good way.
And so that's, so it would be like the users and stuff that are involved, like in the games and Tron, it would be the same way, it's like those would be the bots, interacting with the algorithm. The algorithm is the set guidelines of how it's supposed, things are supposed to work, like Facebook, YouTube. They've set an algorithm on how your posts are supposed to be seen, and that type of thing.
And right now, that's important because the algorithms are set by humans. Mm-hmm. So that's that controlling of the data flow. Brian says the critical component of intelligence is the gray area called emotions, and AI will never be able to replicate it. So AI is neither white or black, left or right. But it can be a facsimile of all of those things. It can be a facsimile. And I'm just worried that people are getting so incredibly trained that they're not going to be able to distinguish between the facsimile. So there was a philosopher. There was a philosopher and physicist named Baudrillard, and Baudrillard talked about the simulacrum, which is coming into play, Greg. The idea of a simulacrum is you're in a simulation. That's a simulation of a simulation, and you're unable to tell the difference. And I think that's where this is heading.
Yeah. That's I would definitely agree with that, because that's one of those things you can't. We talked about in the very beginning of the show. It's like you go on anything, like we'll just throw this out, like a Bigfoot group. You go into like these Bigfoot groups. How many people keep going and falling over the same AI images?
Yeah.
It's over and over again. It's the same thing. It's like, and this is where, like, that dead internet theory, there's the originality is all it is it's the same material that just keeps getting recycled over and over and over and over again. And it's like nothing's changing, and everybody's fighting with themselves over this thing. And you're like, dude, you clearly tell this is not a real photograph. And everybody's like, oh my God, it's an amazing. I just saw one where AI generated thing where this whale was supposedly eating this boat, and everybody, you could see the person's hand on the ship that was being filmed from. You could see the fingers morphing. And there's people commenting, oh my God, this is amazing. Amazing capture.
The dude from Peru, that was fake.
The one where I think was the blackish colored whale that was eating the boat.
Oh, a boat.
No, not that canoe. Not that one.
Okay,
no, this
was real.
Yeah, that was real. This is
real. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I know. Where you see you're scrolling through TikTok and you see these airplanes that are like straight out of a video game.
Yeah, and that's where and then you'll see some of those comments where you're like, how can people be this gullible? Well, they're not.
Yeah.
Those are the bots. A lot of these are the bots interacting with the posts to boost the, through the algorithm to boost everything and just get it over there. And that's where these things really, kind of Skyfall. That's really.
Yeah, we're Craig and I are just kites dancing in a hurricane.
Yep.
Yeah,
let me,
that's what we are increasingly that.
So let me, do you want to start on the timeline?
Yeah. Let's however you want to do. You go first, and then I'll give you what I found out from AI.
Yeah. So this one, like I said, go to this Agora Road Macintosh. This one, it's like he sent a good template that I built off of. He started with 2004 DARPA. DARPA creates the LifeLog program, and this project. It goes for a little bit, and then it is shelved by DARPA on February 4th, 2004. If anybody knows that date, that exact date is what we're being, one of the things, where we're being broadcast on. Facebook arrives on that very same day that LifeLog is shut down.
Because
supposedly.
Congress said, no, that's public privacy. That goes too far. Yeah, that's Q-Intel, which is the CIA. Oh, I thought you were doing the prediction of where this is going. This is great that you're doing this timeline, Craig. I didn't do that. That's awesome. But yeah, so Q-Intel is the venture capitalist arm, and they seeded Facebook, they seeded Google, the Musk and his money. It wasn't his Emerald family money. There were other things.
Yeah.
So go ahead, sir, please.
Yeah, no. So that one, because that LifeLog was a program attempting to record people's entire lives, what they saw, said, do, and it's one of those things. They shut it down. Okay, did they really? Well, not really, because once 2004, 2000 to 2012, now NSA picks up right where DARPA left off. So now the NSA has taken over this program, and they put it under the project name Total Informational Awareness Project.
Yes,
is what the NSA calls this thing. And so this one now, what that does is, so obviously the NSA is involved. So that this didn't end. This continued just right where it left off, like what we've talked about before. You can avoid scrutiny by just changing the name. And so so then 2012 kicks in, and this was done back in I think the start of it was 1943, I believe, is the Smith-Mundt Act, which was this one was the Modernization Act of 2012 is what this is one of the things. It kind of fell into the radar. This is during Obama's right at the end of his first term. This allowed these agencies, other organizations, to actually use propaganda against the American populace. Because before the Smith Act, made that to where that you were not allowed to. I mean, come on. Does anybody think they weren't using propaganda against the American people? But now this made it to where they could go into the light. Yeah, they could go into the light now and use these things. So that this happened. That act was passed after the Church Committee with the discovery of Operation Mockingbird, and so this is why this is put in. Well, this reversed it to now to where propaganda that they would have used against overseas adversaries, entities, they can now use on the American populace. Yep. And so now starting 2012 to 2016, multiple contracts from DARPA and NSA are awarded to Google, Amazon, Facebook, except, just go down that, Twitter, you just go down through the thing. These are, and this is one of the things they mention it, and I did a little deep dive on it, and I told you before the show, and I'm curious if anybody that's listening, watching right now has ever heard of this Google's Selfish Ledger project. And this one, I had never heard about this before until I was doing the research. And what this project does is this allows the system to plug gaps in its knowledge and refine its model of human behavior. And so what this does is it collects all data on actions that you make on your devices, preference settings, and decisions that you make while operating online, using the services, and it allows it to use these gaps. So what it will do then now, and this is where, like, when you'll start to notice, like, the difference between a mobile searching and PC searching. You'll see how it looks differently. You can do the same thing, and all of a sudden your results are different. That's one of the things, is it's evaluating how it wants to proceed, allow you to proceed during your search. So what it's doing is it's taking all this information you put into it, and it's not you deciding where it goes next. It's basically, I know what's best for you, so here's what I think you want to see, and that's what it shows you. And this
Absolutely.
is part of the thing that really props up the dead internet theory, is that you're not actually doing a search on, from your own decision-making process. You're being told what your process is based off of your previous stuff. And so now the internet is generating, so it's almost like a simulation is being created as you do it. So if you've ever played Minecraft, the world is being generated as you move forward. It's like, it's kind of a haze, and then it's slowly just pixelating right in front of you and appearing. And that's what it is. You're not really deciding
that's
which way to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Because Google sent me a message today. They're really pushing Google Gemini, which the Gemini is the two teams that worked on it, Brain and DeepMind. DeepMind, DeepSeek, interesting, Craig. But anyway, they were like, oh, this is great. Set this up. Just push this button. We'll do this for you. We'll automate that for you, which means that you're handing over your decision-making process to the machine, just like you were talking about. But check this out. You can even use it when your screen is locked.
Yeah.
What? I lock my damn screen for a reason.
Yeah, no.
I don't want anything circumventing that. Yeah.
No, it's watching. And I mean, how many times do people will say, man, let's start talking about, gigantic toothbrushes. And all of a sudden we're going to get some, Party City thing for an oversized toothbrush for thing that's going to pop up in your search bar, for purchasing. And you're like, how does that happen? Well, it's because it actively listens. It actually watches. It watches what you look for. It's like same way it's like a video. It's like TikTok's terrible about this. It's like when we first started an account, every other video with some girl shaking her ass, clothes falling off. It took forever to break free of this. And so Chris was I'm putting him on blast here on the show. Chris was looking on TikTok, and all of a sudden he stopped to look at a video. I log in the next day, and I'm like, damn it, man. I go, all it was the same videos again. And that's all it took. All you have to do is hover on a video for a second, and the system says, boom, that's what he wants to see. And it just starts spitting it all back again. And it takes forever to clear that out. It's brutal.
It absolutely does. And then TikTok was doing a thing probably about, I shut it off, but it was like, I would get these notifications. We've picked this video for you. And I was like, no, thank you. I'll decide. Threads is doing that now. We selected that. This is our pick for you. I get these notifications. We've selected this for you. I'm perfectly capable of scrolling. I don't need you to cherry pick my content for me. So that was really disturbing that Google Gemini is going to do that, even with your screen locked. Take 2 seconds to put your damn, that's what it's there for. So
it's one of those things, if you notice, like if you do a search, and tell me if you've experienced this. I've experienced this before now. It is really, really hard to get a specific search completed now through Google. Because before you used to be able to do like quotations, and put your keywords in and you could get it. Now it is, you have to navigate so much. It's like you literally are on to like the 30th, 40th page, and you'll notice you keep getting the same thing no matter how many, every time you click one of the O's, it's the same stuff that keeps showing up. Even if you go to something like DuckDuckGo, or even these ones, they are getting more and more to where it's like you can't just do a simple search anymore. You actually have to almost know exactly, the addresses of the places that you're going. Yeah. And so, see, that's the thing. It's just, and this is something that, because on that same timeline, 2017, that's when the deep fakes came on board. Then remember that all the stuff came, Hollywood actors were coming in, all this fake stuff. 2018 is when they finally admitted the confirmation about Reddit, YouTube stuff, where vote and view counts were being manipulated. And that's what I was saying. And that's where this thing is. It's just because it's, in those things, it's like you go to these parts, and even then it's just, the information is curated now, for you. It's like, it doesn't matter, really where you're, it's getting harder and harder to do something like research, things. But back to what I was saying, even with that all, what we just said, you can still find the meme and still do a simple Google search and it pops up on your first result, that boom, this is fake. I go, so people, there's no excuses on that. I mean, so yeah, don't think that was that I just gave you a way out. No. You know who all you guys are doing. It's like, quit sharing that fake stuff. Stop it. Stop.
Now,
Bad.
Craig, do you have when TIA became Palantir? Became Peter Thiel and Palantir?
I didn't get that. I didn't get that far
it's somewhere in that.
Yeah, because it's
somewhere in that.
Pretty much like the original poster and stuff. This is when, at that point, he kind of stopped with his thing, and it kind of made sense because at this point, we've already crossed over the event horizon. In the way for like this dead internet thing, we are at the singularity. Is what it has for that. And for people that don't understand that, that's where things are happening at, it's like real time. There's no break anymore. It's constant. And that's where it's just, because right now it's like you could have bots showing up in the chat, on this thing, doing the same thing. And you wouldn't notice it because it's happening in real time. It's responding to, like, Brian will make a comment, it'll respond to Brian. And you're thinking, oh, it's a real person. But there's always just that little catch. But that's where he was and that's kind of where I didn't even get to penalty, because now it's just it's almost like they're trying to navigate the simulation and trying to how to
absolutely
word through it.
Yeah, there's no question. What was I going to say? So for the longest time, Palantir's only client was the CIA. That has since changed, but that tells you a lot. So what I have, Craig, to finish up are OpenAI / ChatGPT's predictions for the next phases of the internet. So this is what it is telling us is going to happen. Somewhere between 2025 and 2030, we were going to have an AI saturated internet. The majority of the content, articles, videos, comments will be AI generated. Now, what we already learned tonight is 40 to 50% of the content, in some places 50 to 60. So the majority, so this must mean the vast majority. We're already at the majority, which is what they're saying at 2025. Synthetic engagement becomes indistinguishable from real engagement. So you'll be talking to a bot and you don't know that you're talking to a bot. It's just starting to feel more and more like Blade Runner.
People do that on posts right now, on Facebook posts. People are doing that. People are commenting on bots, and they don't even realize that's what they're doing.
Right. Completely bot-driven social media influencers. So, of course, the more it's out there, if you don't know what's happening, they're pushing it out. I cannot possibly generate enough content in the course of a day to keep up with AI, nor can the rest of us humans who are actually trying to generate content. From 2030, so we're already there. We're already there in a lot of that. AI walled gardens will be 2030 to 2040. The internet will splinter into curated AI moderated zones. Have you had a chance to look at the butterfly revolution yet?
No, I haven't. Let me write that down.
Okay.
So I don't forget again.
Have a look at that, because basically the world is going to be split into AI moderated corporate tech run city states and nation states.
It's almost like the internet version of the Hunger Games. It's basically what it sounds like.
That's basically what it is. Yeah. Google, Meta, OpenAI, and will be closed ecosystems where AI will filter all content. You and I at that point will be doing other things. I don't know if we'll be teaching on the street or what exactly we'll be doing by that time.
I'll be the guy with a A-frame placard.
Trust. So what'll happen is it'll hit a threshold where it takes over so much, but then it's doing so much bad that there'll be a crisis of trust, and there'll be a push for human authenticated content. Then the internet will become really what Schmidt and Kissinger would like it to be, internet as a simulation. Or you'll see the butterfly revolution guys basically say, people who are lazy or undesirable or old or poor, we can either use them for biofuel, haha, just kidding, or we can put them basically in an AI virtual environment prison, which is that Matrix idea.
Which is the Matrix.
Right? And do you remember that dude? It was when you and I first met. There was a dude that came on. I was on Three Beards, so this was God,
Mhm.
dude.
In the comment
I was
section.
alone, so it wasn't the first time I came on. But the dude came on and he was talking about how we already have the nanoparticles in us, and basically your brain will be generating power for these AI
Yeah, you basically
data
we're
centers, and
walking
that's
back.
how
Yeah, we're
you'll.
walking. It'll hack
Yeah,
us, and we'll actually be, instead of like hacking a PC, it'll actually hack into us, and then we
yeah.
will become like the walking, talking, breathing, computer network that'll be used to power this system.
Yeah, and you'll do your work and you'll get your digital credits based on the
Yep.
work that you do. So that's what these guys are here. We really got to do Butterfly Revolution fairly soon. I
Yeah.
think you'll dig. I think you'll dig that it's right in our wheelhouse. So yeah, AI models will generate hyper realistic simulated digital worlds. Again, in order for Facebook to afford $65 billion in AI research for the meta universe, they got to take down most of Craig and I's videos. So Craig,
Yeah.
theoretically, obviously all of the Three Beard videos that are housed on Facebook through streaming are older than 30 days old. So in June, all that content will go away.
Yeah. I
People,
wouldn't be surprised if that if that starts spreading to other platforms as well.
yeah.
I mean, I don't
So
want
make
that to
sure you
happen, but
download your content. No. So what good does
yeah.
it do me to have my videos sitting on my hard drive taking up space? People interact with AI personas, not humans, without realizing it. So that becomes, there are different visions of the singularity. What I was taught the singularity is, and it's a little different, Craig, than what you said. A man named Robert Anton Wilson, who was a bit philosopher, writer, amazing. His work, Cosmic Trigger, is amazing, from the 1980s. Basically, it took like thousands of years for knowledge to double. Then it took 100 years. Now it's taken 50 years until eventually we'll hit a singularity where all knowledge will double instantaneously.
Instantly.
And it will be a whole
Yeah.
different world, which is hard to.
It's hard to fathom, but I mean, there's already people talking that like even Elon just came out and said it's like we're on the event horizon of the singularity, which is kind of thing is. And for Joseph, I was just typing the thing right now. YouTube has all the videos right now, and so
and because I engineer all the audio for ERT Radio, so people can watch every Wednesday night at 10 p.m., I have all the audio files are on my external hard drive. So people don't need to look at us necessarily. But if that stuff went away and you couldn't find it anywhere, I could send you at least an audio recording of all of our shows. I've kept all of the shows. So we do have that. So yeah, it was.
What's that saying? How's that saying go? Voices for radio, faces for print.
Yeah, there you go. You got a face too ugly for radio.
It's like,
that was the original one. Yeah, face too ugly for radio, kid. Amazon not only took down the 400, but they had a thing called Kindle Vella, where you could do short stories and do them episodic, and you get paid, and people read them. Now, luckily, I use that to force myself to write a short story anthology in X amount of time. So I have that in another form. They killed Kindle Vella today. So it's gone.
Really?
Yeah, it's gone. So they're removing more content. They're removing more human generated content so that, I'm sure bots are going to be creating short stories and all kinds of crap. And then the big game is that the internet will shift from human driven to autonomous digital entity fully. And that will be the Schmidt Kissinger vision, where we'll all sort of be in some digital version of the company store, is, Craig, where I really think where we're going.
Yeah,
The smart cities and the restrictions.
Yeah, Brian's comment there. I would hope that would be the case, but based off what currently, like I see on online behavior, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. I mean, too many people embrace the AI generated content as real, as authentic.
We're engaged. Old guys.
Yeah, it's
kids grew up in it.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like we just talked about, like through the show. It's confirmation bias. it feeds exactly what you want to hear, what you want to see. You're not going to resist that because it's telling you what you want to, it gives you the stuff to share with, share with your group, because haha, I got that bullet, that I've been wanting to, to fire at that other side. Well, and that's the thing. And it's not, I wish that was the case. I really do. It's one of those, it's going to be the very few. I mean, we'll be a Demolition Man. We're going to be that little group that's hiding underneath the streets while everybody else is just going about, their daily lives. And we'll be like, talking the stuff. And that's, as sad as that is, the real stuff will become like that. It'll become an underground thing. And you'd hope that at some point it break out, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you look at, is it all predictive programming? No, it isn't. You look at The Walking Dead. You look at Leave the World Behind. You look at War of the Worlds, the remake with Tim. But Tim. Damn, he used to be married to Susan Sarandon. Tim. Damn it, the actor from Bull Durham and HUD Sucker Proxy and Tim. Jesus, if anybody can help me out, please bail me out. Anyway, it's the guys who are set up, who planned ahead, right? It's the Kevin Bacon character. It's that Tim Robbins.
There you go.
Tim Robbins character. People come for him. The gangs come from him. It happens every season, right? Of Walking Dead. It's, we have a new town. We have Alexandria. We have our little, trailer park. We have all this kind of stuff. And the bad guys just come with guns and shit, and they just steal all your crap. And Cormac McCarthy's The Road. It's the same kind of thing.
Well, it'll be like that. You'll have the real content, and people will be like, ooh, I want that. And then boom, as soon as you're discovered, then pow, it becomes, the Leviathan's going to take it over.
This is what I think.
Yeah, go ahead.
No. This is why it appears, I guess, that I don't have faith, just because these parallel communities, I don't know, like I'm involved with people who are starting to try to start their own streaming platform to get away from the big 3, 4, 5, whatever's left, right? And the FCC just steps in and says, okay, it's going to cost you $1 million for the license. So who can afford that? A startup company can't afford that. So therefore you take them out of play. So there are entrenched powers that I think it's the same thing with, like, Tanya and I are, Craig and you and I have talked about a little. We've talked about it with other people. Oh, what if the shit really went down? Who are the people that you'd want to be not in a commune, but who would you want to be in a collective with? They're going to come for those I think the whole, not growing your own friggin' food, that being illegal or not being able to use.
Yeah, they're making it to where you have to register, a home garden. There's a lot of communities that want to do that. They want to regulate, where you can't collect rainwater. You can't do these things. It's one of those, eventually, that's the stuff where it's like you want to do the right thing, but it becomes to where, as sad as it is, you almost have to become, you're becoming like an outlaw in your own trying to navigate these things. It's I don't know.
Well, I got singled out, but okay, we'll see.
Well, I'm a Gen X too, so.
We'll see. That's it. Yeah. I'm not in charge of shit. But I love my kids, but I wouldn't really put them in charge of, making dinner on Thanksgiving, really. So that's my feeling about the other generations. And I think whatever they call them, the silent whatever generation, our parents, it's time that they shut the F up. That's my feeling. The silent generation has been way too damn loud. I think that's the one where things might shift. But the problem is our kids don't trust us. They feel like we've let them down. We feel like we allowed all this to happen to them. Because we were selfish, or we were, so we'll see. I don't think
the kids, our kid, a lot of our kids realize that most of us, we were feral. We were not, we didn't have structure, or it was literally Lord of the Flies. We learned how to survive out. I mean, we did stuff where there was no record of. There is no camera footage. There was no stuff that, we don't. There's no record of what we did. And they're like, well, you just didn't do anything. It's like, that's exactly the point. You don't, you're messing with a sleeping bear. I mean, it's like, you don't understand.
Summer day was get the hell up, have some breakfast, get the hell out. You were allowed in for lunch, but maybe you had it outside. You drank from the hose
water
in the back.
Yeah, if you wanted water, you got it out of that warm lead-lined pipe, that you got.
Yeah.
That's how we got our water.
Seatbelts, helmets. We were jumping our banana seat bikes on ramps.
Oh, yeah, there's no helmets.
Knocking our testicles into our throats, covered in poison ivy, playing in burned out buildings in the rooms. As long as you were home by dark, you were cool. Nobody gave a crap. Right? Yeah, Joe, drink from the garden hose. We all did it, and here we are. We're all still standing. We'll see. So I just want to follow up from last week where I was talking about NVIDIA and the huge hit that it took. And they were down another 8% today. So NVIDIA took a bit. They're still struggling and they fell out of the $3 trillion club. So the only tech company that's left in the $3 trillion club is Apple with their new phones every 2 seconds. There you go.
I know.
Riding in the back of pickup trucks. But I think a lot of us have stories about how that didn't turn out great for somebody who suffered a massive head injury.
Oh, yeah.
But we did it. And we hung out a car. Oh, Craig, when I was in college, my buddy and I, because of Michael Keaton's character in Night Shift, Billy Blakowski, we wore red Converse high tops. To this day, I have a pair of red Converse high tops. Mm-hmm. We would wear them, and we would wear the same kind of like colored jeans. And we would go down the highway, and he would have his left foot out the window, and would have my right foot out the window.
Oh,
so it looked
awesome.
like one giant dude with both his legs out the car window. Got pulled over by a cop on that one.
Yeah, that's me and my buddy, he had a samurai, Suzuki Samurai, and he outran the cops, and we that thing was skinny enough. We went over a footbridge to get away from the police. I mean, it's a little. I mean, I've got these things. Like I said, it's like really, if you want to wake this, poke this bear enough, it's like I don't think this generation, this current generations realize just
the 80s
just what's in store for them.
Man. So let's end on this because Brian's right. I do believe that the truth will be making a comeback. That's why we show up every Thursday night. Mm-hmm. That's why our audience does such it is, and we love you. I'd rather have 120, 150 people who are into what we do contribute to the conversation than 1,000 trolls. Then 1,000.
Then we know it's real. Everybody that's commenting here, we know it's not a bot.
Yeah. So there you go. So folks, next week, this was set up before Craig came on full time. This will be probably the last time that I'm doing this, maybe ever. And I really don't mind, but I'm having a guest on. It's Reverend Carter, who's a colleague of both of ours. But we set up a thing. He's going to talk. He's going to do most of the talking, and he's going to talk about exopolitics, Craig. So if there is life out there, what are those governments going to look like if we do start colonizing space? If we do start, and his big question is a very, very good one. Who the hell do we put in charge with negotiating treaties and contracts with other intelligences? Who the hell is capable of doing that?
Yeah. Who would be, who would be the one? Yeah, that's
there
true.
You go. Certain fire drills. I don't want to use the word, Charles. Charles says how many people can fit in a Volkswagen or a phone booth? Or turning over a teacher's Volkswagen in the school parking lot during lunch and putting it on its roof, or maybe stealing a car when you were in college. I don't know. It's just a different time. It was just a different time. Like you could be, as long as you were really good 95% of the time, you could really screw up like 5%. I know I could. I did some things in my youth. By all rights, the hammer should have come down on me, but I was an honor student with a really bright future, and I was in, Boys State, and so all boys will be. That was the days, Craig, of boys will be boys.
Well, that's the thing. We were lucky, like what we just said. There was no video. There was no video evidence.
Yeah.
So they could only just, there's only just so much they could do because there wasn't actually any evidence that they could present on it, because
Right.
that's one of the things. Like a lot of this generation, they realize everything that they say and do is recorded and kept for eternity. Whereas the stuff we used to say that was stupid and things like that, it doesn't haunt us to this day, because the person that we said it to,
Yeah.
the weakness was weeded out, because they were the ones that ended up falling off the bridge, because they were.
Yeah. Plus, ever since 9/11, man, I've been mourning the death of complexity. Brian said it. AI doesn't think in black and white. I mean, well, in a way, it only thinks in black and white. In a way, it doesn't do complexity. It's a distillation device. It distills for you, and it tells you what to think. And the other one that I always use is confrontation is the new communication. Like we would talk crap out, and if you had to put your hands on each other every once in a while, you did that, and it was part of what was going on, right? Sometimes you had to get in somebody's face in order for them to take you seriously. And it wasn't, I'm going to sue you, or my parents are calling your parents, or you went home and you had a little bruise or a little something, or your
Do I need to, dad was like, do I need to handle this? No, it was handled.
No, I took care of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes getting knocked on your ass. What would my grandfather always say? Better to get knocked on your face than get knocked on your ass, because at least you're making progress. At least it's forward motion. That's what Sicilians, like, what the hell's the matter with you? Like, get back.
That is a great say. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Right. No, I did hear what you said, Brian. Only things in black and white. But yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. So that's what we're getting. You could screw up once in a while because we were human. Who the hell even knows what that means anymore? So, Craig, always a pleasure, sir. We're coming back after that. We're going to actually but please join us, because it's still going to be Craig and I. We're going to do an Into the Outer Realms episode called Fate versus Free Will. And I ain't bringing no notes. We're just going to talk about soul contracts and astrology and
red letter day. He's not noting
reincarnation and the astrology that I've been working on, which, dude, there's kind of something to it. It's sort of interesting. It's interesting. And I know virtually nothing about how you feel about this. And I can't wait to hear about what the audience feels about it, and what is the line. And if the planets do rule everything, then everything that's happening right now is exactly what is happening. So you want to talk about agents. So these lightning rod personalities right now throughout the world, but especially in the United States, they're just doing what the planets are been doing. They're just the agents. We're just agents.
It'll be a great conversation, because for me, it's like I've never made any bones about it. I'd be like, even all the stuff, it's like I've always had a hard time believing that the position of Mercury has any effect on what my day is going to be.
Yeah, right. Mercury retrograde. I used to roll my eyes.
Oh yeah, everybody's, you'll have all these people who are just like, oh my God, they're like, they just completely swear by it. I'm like, I really don't think, because this planet is in this, constellation, that I've got to really watch out, for, make sure I stay on the right side of the street today. I go, I've never lived this way. And I'm like, and so it's always a great conversation, because I like hearing the other side, like how they're like, oh no, it does this. And I'm like, I've just never been able to. The position of Saturn is going to determine how my day is going to go today. I'm like, I've just never been that way. It's really cool. So there's people that swear by it. Now it's going to be a fun conversation. I love it.
Brian said there's a hell of a lot to astrology. This whole idea of soul contracts, so that you picked your life, or even the fact that Earth is a prison. I have a really interesting little anecdote for you guys about the possibility that Earth might really be an off-world penal colony. And it's kind of interesting, and we can make of it what we will. It's going to be good. Amy says, Amy's quoting me, so there you go, dude. I'm being quoted. We were only human. Who the hell knows what that is anymore? To me, here's what's being human. After this show, Tanya and I are going to watch the final 2 episodes. We watched like almost 40 hours of Church of Scientology, or Scientology in the Aftermath, and I cry every effing episode. That's what it is to be human.
It's intense.
When another person's pain get you. We're empathy. When empathy. So there you go. Yeah, Saturn is moving into the sign of Pisces, but Jupiter's doing cool things, and Neptune is moving into a position that it only moves into I think every 80 years, and it's been all the war. Craig, it's gonna be interesting, man.
I know. I saw like
interesting.
last thing for me. I saw the craziest post today. Somebody's like, if you look tomorrow, to the southwest, it'll be the first time that you'll be able to see all 8 planets, including Earth. I'm like,
Yeah.
how are you supposed to see the Earth up in the sky? We're standing on it, and it's like,
Yeah.
it's-
Very good. It's gonna be fun, man. And we'll give Alien Girl the last word. We are all not human, and I understand exactly what you mean by that. So, but while we're here, let's have some facsimile of something that slightly resembles it anyway. So, all right, take care. Very
everybody,
grateful for all you guys.
don't be sinister. Stay mysterious.
There you go. He's got the T-shirt. Follow the band, and I had to wear my Stranger Things today.
That's right.
Which Tanya also made this for me. Shh.
Awesome.
But
That is
anyway,
bootleg.
and now we're gonna give Puppet Man the last word. Peace, folks.
Good night.
You have a sinister mystery in mind. Let us know by sending us a DM or comment in the chat. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Till next time, stay mysterious.